Hello everybody, nice to see you again. Nice to tap in to you again. I have a really big message today. It's a very particular frequency, a particular message, and it's coming from the shadow. Okay, this is going to be a shadow read. Alright, I know normally you guys may scroll on my page, you might see a lot of positivity, which is in my call. You know, it's a lot of love vibration, but I'm going to be speaking about a particular situation tonight that Spirit has made sure to make it very, very particular. Okay, so within 5 minutes into the reading, if this is not talking about you, please keep it moving. There is a vibration for a particular read of consciousness that exists, that reached out to me and said, hello, I need you to put this out. So this is a shadow read, meaning it's what's going on in the shadows. Okay, it's not about demonization. This is a safe space for us to talk in truth and to let what has been done in the dark to come out to the light. And honestly, when it comes down to it, it's all about navigating our humanity so that we are in tune with our higher selves and moving as one unit. Okay, so it's not about judgment, it's about expression in truth. Okay, however, the reason why we have to say that it's not about judgment is because we understand that there's something that's not aligned with God in either the actions or the frequencies that just exist. Okay, this is why we overcome certain temptations in this world, is because they do exist. The existence is not the problem. It's how far into it are you going to allow your humanity to fall. Do you understand? Or to indulge. Okay, at what expense? Because everything has a cost, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get into what exactly am I talking about. There's a story. Let me take a pause. There's some noise outside. Alrighty, my loves. Off the rip, I'm already hearing this is the idea. There's a Capricorn energy. This is one of those soul progression things. Okay, so this scenario I'm about to pose, or this story that I'm about to tell you, do not get caught up in the lines of Anansi's web of the story. It's going to hit you because something has led you here. This video didn't just come up to you in your algorithm for no reason. It's because there's a resonance in the storyline. With that being said, use me as an anchor to not get fooled or lose yourself in the story. Okay? Or get eaten by Anansi. Alright? So let's just calm it down. We're going to talk in truth and we're going to guide you through these waters in time. Okay? So let's get to the story. The story is of a woman who is a mother. She is a wife. Okay? Her duties as such has become monotonous. Alright? Her spirit is bigger than the life that she is living. However, through her humanity and soul progression, there has been a turn of tides, or maybe something that's bringing a little excitement. She's married to a husband. If this person I'm talking about is you, you could be either one of these characters in the storyline. I will let Spirit do what it does and speak. She's married to a husband. The husband is involved in some kind of, I wouldn't say illegal activity, but it is not, his business is not morally sound, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, he's probably an underworld lord or someone who has had dealings in maybe a life of the streets, things like that. Okay, of this energy, whether it be drugs, prostitution, moving money at the expense of mankind in this kind of way, or in the expense of someone's humanity. These characters must exist in order for people to ascend past a certain level of consciousness. It's not a good or bad thing. There's no judgment here. Okay, it's about what it is. I'm just talking in truth. Okay, she particularly has a nephew who is not really her blood nephew. There's a young man in her vicinity. I don't know if he's staying with her. It's something like that. Either a nephew, or when you say nephew, not by blood, but by play. You know, he's staying with her, but he is of age to know himself biblically, if you understand what I am saying. Now, in that particular house, there's a lot of shadows. There's one drunkard. There's a drunkard. There's somebody who drinks a lot in that household. But drunk man tells no tales. Okay, so that's the shadow read of the house. That particular energy. It could be a male or a female. It doesn't really matter. But that particular shadow is there lurking and is observing. All right. Now this woman, she has found pleasure in the young man. They have not crossed the line. I mean, she has not made anything physical. However, she does find pleasure in his youth. She finds pleasure in his comfort of the love expression. I think this young man actually is lacking a type of mother figure, and her lines are getting crossed as far as what is pleasurable to her, because she's not connecting with her husband in this way. Okay, the husband feels it. However, just because he's an underworld lord doesn't mean he does not have a heart. He does love his wife. He does love his wife. He is suspicious of the connection that the mother has with this nephew. Again, I think he may be the husband's actual nephew, or it could be his husband's play nephew. Either way, he's taking him in for whatever business or whatever the case may be. This is a storyline. Came to me in my sleep. Okay. I guess I was remote viewing, but this is why we're making this message. Okay. The husband confronts the wife. Now, you could be at any moment, you could be in any period of this storyline, okay? But Anansi's already cast the web, so we're just giving you the whole entirety, and how far you get entrapped in this web is up to you, okay? But this video will find you right in time when you need to hear it. Okay, so the husband suspects. He walks in and he tells the wife, of course, he's speaking code, but he does not know for sure if they have ever crossed the line. But he feels the tension. There's sexual energy that is not being placed in the correct vessel. It's not being led. It's not being attracted to the right person, is her husband, who is supposed to be the grounder of that energy. Some is leaking on into this young man. Okay? And it's because she is wanting to expand. She's wanting to be something more than just a wife and a mother figure. All right, she has another desire. Okay, and that is where this Capricorn energy, this lustful energy, is coming into place. That spirit is trying to be embodied through her. Okay, but she has a very solid heart. I have to say that her heart is like really strong. So she will not get lost by it, but it is a temptation that's coming up in her field. Okay, so the husband comes in and he says something. This happens during a laundry room. I don't know if you guys are laundering something. If you guys are laundering cash, I don't really know. Okay, I really don't want to know, to be honest. This is just a reading. Okay, but either way, she was cleaning. I guess she's cleaning up house, and this is what she has found in her vicinity, in her energy field, whatever the case may be. The husband comes in, he says something to allude to the fact that he's understanding what is about to happen, because again, things happen in spirit first and then made physical. He's starting to catch on to what the vibration is in the house. Now the drunkard comes in and actually says, yes, I've heard her, I can feel her energy. She is leaking some of the sexual energy onto this. We're calling him a child, because he's not the same emotionally, mentally, and spiritually equipped in this situation compared to the husband and the wife. He's young. He's a younger spirit, a younger vessel. Okay, so the drunkard is not lying. However, the drunkard is also not in the correct place to give this information to the husband, because it's now coming across as being pushy. But again, everything must come in revelation. Okay, so again, you could be at any point of the story. Listen to the entire story, because this is the role in which you're playing the story to fulfill. Okay, get fulfilled. All right, so the wife and the husband go into the room. The wife does not sleep in the same bedroom as her husband. She has her own bedroom. The nephew oftentimes sleep with the husband in his room. Nothing crazy is happening there. It's just that the husband is actually creating an environment for the nephew to learn. Okay, so they are bonding in this way. However, there's a disconnect between the husband and the wife. The wife sleeps in a different room. The nephew, so the wife follows the husband into the husband's bedroom, the main master bedroom, and they're speaking, and she said, I have not done anything with this young man. However, you are picking up on energy that's not being expressed. She has sexual energy that's not being expressed, and your line of work, the way things are moving, you can tell by the husband that he is hurt by the energy, but he is grateful that it has not come into anything physical. Okay, he's grateful that his wife has this type of heart, this type of spirit that will not, that she has not crossed any physical lines or made that energy into reality in their home. Okay, so she expresses that she needs to bond with her husband. The bond of love needs to be resurfaced because she cannot fake sexual energy. She cannot fake it. You understand what I'm saying? So either you cultivate this love some more so that that fire is more ignited in the relationship, okay? Or, truth be told, cheating will eventually surface, okay? So the nephew is a little confused. He comes in and asks, well, are you bonding with, am I getting pushed out or something like that? And she responds, I just need to bond with my husband. Okay, that is how that answer is. There's nothing against this child. He's a child. He does not know yet. Okay, but he can feel drawn to the energy because she is a woman. Okay, so I think the major point of this whole thing is that no one is at fault in this scenario. The husband is actually we're not talking about good and bad, but he has a heart. He has heart. He has heart. And he actually does love this woman. Okay, where love resides, lust cannot conquer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where love resides, lust cannot conquer. Okay, so I think this story in particular came to me because this is I know my demons, I know them well, and so when you ascend past a certain level of consciousness, though, you meet them with compassion and understanding, not judgment. Okay, while everyone is everyone is trying to evolve past a certain level of consciousness and navigate their own humanity, their id, their impulsiveness. Okay, we have to give a lot of compassion, a lot of grace, because we understand that the fall is a fall. Okay, it is a fall. It does not mean we cannot rise again. All right, I just heard to have hope. Okay, so this was actually a very successful story. Okay, so much so it realigned my whole energy and made me come on here to even speak to you guys. Okay, if this story is talking about you and you guys want to go further in the reading, hit me up on Instagram and I can provide that for you. Again, this is a very particular story, so I don't expect this to get everybody, but there is going to be some kind of resonance in what we're talking about today if you have stayed and listened through this entire thing. Okay, it has to do with overcoming temptation. Okay, when you're in a spiritual union with someone where love is actually truly present, these things become a point of reconciliation rather than a deterrent. Okay, I did see that you guys are going to be triumphant and successful. And because of the overcoming of this obstacle, there's going to be material harvest that comes in. Okay, so thank you. All right, so thank you to this energy that have come and tell me the story. Thank you for, I'm going to say Hestia, okay, which is the goddess of hearth and home. This energy, this particular energy signature that I do appreciate. Okay, and that I love and I embody. All right, but yes, it's overcoming fear. If you think about it from the husband's perspective, he is actually kind of spiritually in tune. He is coming out from he has already ascended from his lower level nature of his manhood, okay, of his flesh, of his humanity, in the lower level form of it. Okay, but he himself has spiritual awareness, and he actually does have love. He has reached his heart chakra. And so he has love for his wife. Okay, and he actually did have love. He does have love for his nephew too, but we got to let children stay in children's places. Okay, he had to overcome the fear of temptation by shining light on what is true, and that's where they're meeting. They have to speak in truth. Okay, so let me take a pause real quick and drink some water. Okay, another big thing is that it takes a great deal of courage to face one's reality. Okay, and in that, the Spirit of God is very, very pleased. Okay, the wholeness and the unity of God is very, very pleased. Okay, taking responsibility for one's problems and inner control. Okay, that's where it has to start. You have to be able to be accountable for oneself and one's emotions, and recognizing which entities, which spirits are lurking in your shadow. Okay, and taking accountability for them. If they have place to fit, you must be able to vocalize it. Okay, especially when you're in spiritual union with someone. Okay, so be mindful. All right, so let's pull some cards. This was a reading. It came out before I got it. We got the Two of Swords. Okay, I just heard you nailed it. Okay, thank you. So in this particular tarot deck, which is the African American tarot deck, the Two of Swords, which is showing me the union between the black and white. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Okay, it's like the merging of these things, but we are in union when it comes to thought forms. You're no longer split. I know the Two of Swords usually has to do with like you have a choice be going this way or that way. You know, it's like you're following blindly. There's in a traditional tarot, but here we're not blind. Okay, we see and we understand that we are two parts of one whole. Do you understand? We are two parts of one whole. Okay, and because of the storyline in which you're playing, and everyone's being honest in their shadow as well as in the light, we're able to nail what the problem is and shoot it down, whatever it is that's causing some type of war. Okay, then we have the Nine of Pentacles here. I think, which has to do in the traditional tarot, has to do with getting your harvest, right? It is the idea of being able to reap the benefits of the seeds that were sown. True love was actually sown in this ground, so any obstacle that came up in this scenario can be overcame. Okay, also I am getting a lot of it's the sexual energy. It's this orange creative energy. Okay, you will reap the fruit. It's very sweet. Okay, from overcoming this obstacle or joining in union through the triumph of this obstacle. This was it was real and raw. So as we're going through Earth, okay, and humanity stuff comes up. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you so much. It is very imperative that we realize that it's not you against I, right? It's us against the obstacles in truth, right? We have to be truthful about what the things that we're feeling, or else our shadows just get bigger and bigger, and they're going to want to feed. Okay, eventually. And everything that you don't say, every little thing that you don't bring to the light, it starts getting bigger and bigger, and the next thing you know, it consumes you. I hope this is recording my audio. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But yes, in this particular relationship, we do have the Star card, which has to do with hope. As above, so below. Like I said, if you guys have a strong foundation, right, what's happening here is just a feedback to what's going on in the spirit. Okay, spirit happens first. Okay, love is a higher frequency that is really high, and we feel it in our bodies and our vessels once we unlock it, and we're able to actually receive it without the constructs of our mind trying to block it out. Okay, it's a very beautiful thing. Okay, so you guys are going to attain the material harvest from this divine connection and overcoming this obstacle. Okay, I do see rain is falling, but clear skies are coming, but the rain is there to wash away whatever stagnant energy that is building up, or any tension that's causing problems in your auric field. Okay, Also, I'm hearing that it's a point of leadership. This couple in particularly, you guys are going to show other couples of what it means to overcome obstacles in this life. Okay? Navigating humanity. Very, very good. Okay? Anything else, guys? They keep saying that you're triumphant. They keep saying that you move with wisdom during your transformation. Okay? You guys are going to be entering Eden. Sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Okay? Very good. It's all very positive things. Okay? So even though this is a shadow read, it doesn't mean it doesn't have positivity. Okay? It's not even about negativity. It's about what is lurking in the unseen. Okay? And why it's important to overcome certain elements of fear. Okay, and being triumphant against this thing. Because if that husband in particularly, if he decided to have a quick temper and give way to the lower level energies of wrath or impulsiveness or his id, if you will, if you guys are psychology majors or have taken a psychology class, you understand there's the id, there's the ego, and then there's super ego, right? And a lot of spiritualists or people, there's many different ways to explain this, right? It's like your inner child, your feminine energy, then your masculine energy, right? Or your morality versus the referee versus your impulsive side. Okay, so it's id, ego, super ego. All right, once you realize that you need to move in a trinity. Okay, so but either way, if the husband wants to give way to his id, he may have caused more damage. Okay, in which all of this entire reading would have been in the reverse. But instead, his vulnerability for the love of his wife and also wanting to seek the truth allowed their bond to be stronger. Because the truth will be the truth. Do you understand? So, in this storyline, I know I spoke about a nephew, a wife, as well as a husband. However, please note that these are roles, okay? You guys may not even be married, but you guys are sleeping together, or you guys are with each other for a amount of years. In my eyes, in spiritual eyes, you are married. You are one. You become one, okay? So that's a caveat for the conversation. The nephew can also represent a son-like figure, someone who is maybe loving the mom too much, or her emotional energy is going into the son rather than to her husband, because the husband has become distant, or he's separated himself from the union, or she has separated herself from a union because she's longing for more, right? These are just characters in the story in which I just told. Do not get lost in Anansi's web. Don't get lost in the story. Try to figure out what role you're playing, what role everyone is playing, and then also get to the point of the resolution of how to move forward. Okay? They want me to read this from the book. Give me a second. All right. For this one, we have the Two of Swords. In the African American tarot deck, it's Adro. Okay? And Dory Miller from the Waco, Texas, 1999, Gilbert Islands, 1943. This card represents balance, adaptability, hard-won harmony, dielectric, confrontation, and duel. Okay? So, do you see how these are two things? So hard-won harmony, okay, meaning that you guys have to face something. You have to face, it was a face-off, right? Like, what's going on here? I'm calling the truth card. What's going on? So, congratulations on that, guys. So that's a card for that. This is, again, the cards are just verifying everything I just said, because this message came before the physical, right? So I'm just showing you guys the logical progression of the storyline. Then we have the number 9 of Pentacles, the boy and the coin-filled gourds. Material, wealth, security, ease, serenity, discernment, and prudence. Very good, right? That is because you've had this hard-won harmony, okay? Choosing peace is rewarding, okay? True peace, not when you're denying yourself or denying what the truth is in the situation, but actual peace. Okay, and then we have the Star card, okay, which has to do with sensitivity, hope, spiritual awareness, harmony with oneself and others, joy in living. Okay, so like I said, these things are choices. Every time when you're navigating your humanity and you make you decide to go with certain spirits or certain things in your shadow, and you make correct ones that actually evolve your consciousness, Yeah, that's where you get this wealth. This, it's very easy to crash out. I'm telling you guys. It's harder to actually choose the higher path. It's harder to go with your morality than it is to just do whatever you want to do. Okay, that keeps you in an infantile state of mind. Okay, and we're all about growing and progressing here. Okay, so congratulations to you guys for navigating through that. All right, it's literally showing me the triumphant through fear. I'm just going to take it. That's going to be the last one, okay? And then I'm probably going to pull an angel card, and then we're going to wrap this up, okay? Because this message was actually just very straightforward. All right, so we got the Six of Swords. Kintu, okay? Victory, success, honors, rivalry, and envy. All right, so that's, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. My bad. Reasoning, curiosity, experimentation, travel, move to another place or experience. Is this correct? Six of Swords? Yes, Six of Swords. Yep. Nkunza, traps death. Angola, and the Daniel Hale Williams. I apologize for that. But I actually do think that both of those things apply here. Okay, so yes. Your marriage, your union is going to live on because you've done a great job in cultivating the fruits of the love that was planted prior to. Okay, you take responsibility of one's problems and then you find solutions accordingly. Okay, that's in balance. It's very important to be in balance. Okay, I do wish you and yours much success. I am going to now pull one more thing from the Angels of Abundance, and then we're going to wrap this up. All right, so this is going to be from the Angels of Abundance deck. Again, guys, if you guys would like to, I know this was a very personal story, so you may not want to write it in the comments like, oh, this is happening in my stuff, but you don't got to worry about that. If you hit me up on Instagram, you guys would like a personal reading, let me know. If you guys would like to send any donations, you guys can send it to my Cash App, which is at $MinxyLuv, LUV. Okay, so I'm INXYLUV. All right, so what do we got? We have clean energy food. When you fuel your body with healthy organic diet, you increase your energy levels and adaptability to focus. This automatically leads to more efficiency, better ideas, higher vibration, which attracts golden opportunities and beneficial relationships. Okay, so with that being said, I know we're talking about the drunkard. No, everyone's playing their role. However, remember I was just talking to you about how your physical is actually a feedback loop to spiritual. All right, so what messages you get down here, your physical body keeps the score of what's actually being received and what's actually being embodied. Okay, so try to keep things as clean as possible. Try to keep things as clean as possible. All right, we're not trying to get murky or dirty in the shadow. Okay, keep things as clean as possible right now because you're in a transient mode right now. Okay, so keep things as clean as possible so you guys both can step into a timeline in which you guys are both being fulfilled. Okay, then we have dreams of abundance. As you sleep, God, your angels, and your higher selves are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal because they contain valuable insights that will help you manifest your desires into reality. Okay, very good stuff. I know a lot of people who take this very neurologically, which is not a problem. They try to like get away. It's actually all one, to be honest. The spiritual and actually the logical, it's all one. Okay, but the way that you convey the message would determine which way you actually are more prone to learn. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, with that being said, for the feminine energy, I definitely recommend that you journal. I definitely recommend that you eat clean foods, right? Because we innately have this connection, okay? And when you trust it, that's when you get a lot of your rewards. As you're navigating the human side of you, right? Your logical side of things that you see, we understand that things happen in spirit first for us. That's why a lot of women tend to predict the future. It's why our intuition's high. It's because we're actually really divinely tapped into it. It's just something that we have, okay? So don't ignore it, okay? Journaling is definitely beneficial for the feminine energy, okay? It helps us understand how we are navigating our humanity here and then also the relationships that we have, okay? We don't really, on this channel, it's not our goal to try to manipulate men or to control them or to make our will more stronger than their own in their own lives, because we understand this is a soul progression. Okay, everyone has a particular soul progression. All right, so anytime we try to interfere with someone else's soul progression, it becomes a casualty. We become casualties. Okay, so allow the free will of that. You just make sure that you're moving in divine wisdom, and understanding your own fears and temptations. Okay, and then lastly, we have positivity, faith, and optimism. Okay, you open the doorway to positive experiences and opportunities with your positive expectations and energy. Do not allow negative energy or temporary setbacks to interfere with the path that you are on. Keep faith and keep going. Okay, this was a transitional period. This part of your guys' life had to happen in order for you guys to see how you all interact. Death and rebirth. Okay, to see how you guys interact with each other during conflict. All right, this is very, very, very important. Okay, how you guys interact with each other during conflict. You guys to see the vulnerability. You see where the strengths are. You see where the weaknesses are, and you work on making that, fortifying the weaknesses. I am very, very proud of you both for overcoming it and gaining this wisdom. Okay, Spirit, thank you so much for delivering the message. I love you. I'm very grateful. Keep hope alive, y'all. Y'all doing great. All right. Again, if you guys have a particular reading, hit me up on Instagram, and I hope this has helped. Alrighty, bye.